Got that. So first order of business today is to approve the minutes from last November's meeting or last month's meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I will second. I have a first and a second motion to approve the minutes as read. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
I didn't find that, did I? You signed it last month, boy.
Okay.
Thank you. So this meeting is a little bit different. Typically, we have one to discuss our ordinance, such like that. Do you want to talk about any current cases first
We
or?
can talk about the ones that are here.
Okay,
First, start off, you can go ahead and step up there if you want. We don't have any pictures for
Okay.
us. I was talking to, this Tim, the president here, and told him that I've been out there, I got pictures, but we weren't gonna be able to view them today because we weren't really gonna have that compliance. So if you want to talk to him about your case, I've already told him that it's compliant.
Okay, we're just trying to get it compliant.
Yeah.
an address, please.
Larry Meese, 8874 South Pleasure Valley Road. Waldron.
So you think you're compliant, I mean, because we don't have pictures, you know who I am, so.
Right,
You know who we are.
we done what he asked us to do. We tried to do everything he asked.
Okay, well, at this point in time, we're just gonna continue it till next month. He'll come in and take pictures. And at that point, if everything's compliant, we'll dismiss everything.
Okay,
Okay?
well, we probably won't be at the next one. Is that okay?
No, I wasn't expecting you at this one. Yeah. Request and order are two different things. All right. Hey, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. As well.
Go ahead. This is Joe Land. His case is, from the old cases, yeah, I know you guys don't have it, but if you have last month's, it's on page 2 of the new cases, 2025-61. Yeah, if you want.
For the record, my name is Joe Land, 2592 East 600 South, Waldron.
I got it.
East 600 South. Yeah, so I came because like you told me that you guys weren't meeting, but I had taken the morning off anyways.
We'll get your Christmas shopping done, would you? You got no excuse now.
I hit Rural King yesterday and stop shop. So I just, like they said, wanted to put this behind us. We've put quite a bit of effort into getting our past season cleaned up. Have you been back out there?
No, not since I met the project.
Pictures before the snow, I don't know if those are legitimate.
I think we'll still have to get pictures on my setup unless the board wants to vote otherwise, and that's up to them. But
It's on the last page. Yes, too.
Yeah, usually it's part of our process. We require him to get pictures that we can store and then we vote on it. So,
We see the before and after pictures
yeah.
together.
Well, have you cleaned it up a little bit or just?
A lot. He came back out to kind of,
we actually met at the property. Yeah, he'd done a lot of the weed. The big issue was the weeds at the beginning of the property, on 600 South. Then he talked to me about how some of it was not weed, some of it was, you have to refresh my memory on what it was. I know it's various.
Some of the standing stuff were like sunflower stalks from the season from growing, and then we let fleabane grow up for our bee culture. And then we've been removing all the invasive honeysuckle on that cut creek. So I'd been focusing primarily on getting that out and getting replacement trees planted in, bottle brush bushes and things like that, cherry trees. So when folks came out, we were in the middle of a tree planting cycle. There's some beer cans out there, kind of got away from us, but everything else, the van that was out there had a license plate, but it was just sitting in the front seat. I never put it on. We drive that van in delivery season. And so I don't know really what else needs to be done out there other than what has been done.
Updated pictures, if it's compliant, I think it's just updated pictures on my end.
Yeah.
Like I said, that will be January, and the meeting is the 27th, so I'd be out there the week before. 20th, maybe.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Okay, time to talk about our current use and solid waste ordinance. So this meeting, typically, we just review it, talk about if we need to make any changes, anything that you guys would like to discuss. So I will kind of start, because I have a list. Imagine that. I think Jody and I had talked about updating the notice. So when people come in, we have discussed their case. Some don't understand that we can enter their property. When we have a formal complaint, we can go all around the property. It doesn't matter if there's a fence or anything like that. So, and then also updating it to state that they can't hide the items behind a fence or under a cover. So I think we'll implement that January 1st. So there's no confusion, and it may be kind of highlighted on that notice.
When you say undercover, are you putting a tarp over it or barn or garage?
Well, a tarp.
Okay,
I mean,
It
if,
addressed that you can't cover it up with a tarp.
okay.
Yeah, it does specifically state that.
It says it has to be behind natural, foliage like trees or where it can't be stored or stored in a building, and covering it up with a tarp can't be, it already states that.
Okay.
Because I was gonna bring it up about entering, because there's kind of two conflicting statements in here. It says one that if they tell you can't come on the property, then you gotta go get a warrant. No, then another one here says a enforcement agent shall have the right to enter any premises, purpose of performing any duties imposed by the provisions of this ordinance. So to me, it was like, I was gonna bring that up, it's almost like,
It's more of a safety concern
Mhm.
if you have a combative landowner who's not cooperating. We obviously don't want our compliance officer to be put in that type of a position. So I think that's included, that we have the ability to go to the court and get a warrant if need be, but
but
we have the authority under.
they're in two different places in the ordinance, and
Yeah.
when I was reading through it, I thought that, to me, it said, what, if you come to the first one, where it says you can't, go on the property, if they tell you can't, then you have to, go get a warrant process. Then later on, it says they have the right to do it, so I think it needs a little clarification between the two so there's no conflict there. Because if I was reading the ordinance as the people that you were coming out to see, I would see that one first. I'd stop there. You can't come on.
Yeah.
take a look at it. Okay. The next thing I have is tall grass and weeds, and it is, and I haven't talked to Jody about this, but it's been Ben and I, but immediate abatement. So let's think about this. If we get the complaint this afternoon for tall grass and weeds, we have to send them the notice. They have 15 days to comply. Let's say they don't. Then we meet again, let's say January 27th. Then you have to order it to be abated. We have to send them an abatement notice. So the quickest it could possibly be abated would probably be February, I'm guessing. So we're looking at 2 or 3 months, and I don't know if we can do something quicker. We're familiar with the city's process. Ben, can you speak on that behalf?
So, the state mandates that you can only do so much, you have to give them so much time. And the city adopted exactly what the state did and said they have 10 days. And if after 10 days, they don't have it, in this case, cut down to, 10 inches or less, then as soon as that 10-day period is over and it's still in violation, it's sent, like Troy will send it immediately to the street department and they can go ahead and take care of it.
So it doesn't have to go before their board.
It doesn't have to go before the board. It makes the cases drop potentially, and it doesn't draw out, you don't have to hear about tall grass and weeds for months. Like it can be, all right, 10 days, boom. Now that's what the city does, and that's what the state minimum is. You can't, you can't do it less than 10 days. But like the county could adopt 12 days, 15 days, whatever it might be. I think it would simplify the process. I think it would definitely drop some caseload maybe a little bit, and just get things going faster.
Well, how do you, at that 10-day mark, does that create more work for you?
So I kind of do that already when I tie a car. I set a reminder on my phone, and then I give it 20 days, and I usually give it a couple more, and I go out and check on it. So I do the same thing with the weeds. Yeah, it would put a little bit more on me because I would have probably a lot more reminders on my phone. Well, that's how I operate right now with the weeds. It would probably potentially, I would be doing more work, more miles, but I would be willing to do that. But that's fine with me. I think it would be more beneficial than it would be a detriment.
So the 10 days, you automatically would check it, but it would eliminate kicking these cans down the road for basically 90 days.
Yeah.
10 days seems a little quick. I mean, I'm just thinking somebody could be on vacation week. I don't know if we ought to make it more like
15 days, because that's.
Ordinance has 15 days.
Yeah,
If you wanted to do like what Ben is saying, we can. Ours just says 15 days. We would have to give them 15 days to abate or clean up the weeds and grass, cut the grass, and then we can go in and do it. Because it does say in here, the notice after 15 days, it becomes final. So
becomes what?
It becomes final after 15 days.
That's what the notice that we put on their property says? Or
You may need to look at the notice. I don't know about that. The ordinance itself, if we wanted to do what like the city is doing, we have a 15-day requirement instead of 10, but it does kind of follow along state statute. And so we could, after 15 days, go to abate.
So it would just be using his discretion when I come back for
that.
For that, yeah.
Yeah.
Regular-
Yes. That part.
But in our statement that we send out, you have 15 days or we're going to abate.
Yeah, I think there would need to be some language in there that if it doesn't already say that, to where it's like, all right, in a tall grass and weed. Now, the problem a lot of times is that stuff will overlap. Tall grass and weeds, when you get it, all of a sudden when you get cut, it develops into, oh, there's junk here, there's junk here.
Well, yeah, it double up no matter what. I mean,
Right.
it seems like it's tall grass and weeds, plus you have trash here and
Yes.
you've got an old vehicle here, so you're gonna have a slice in there someplace.
So the contractor might come in and cut it down, and all of a sudden there's all this junk there. And then that's when, I kind of think of it like, in law enforcement perspective, like you're doing a pat down, and all of a sudden you're doing something, and then you gotta stop, you gotta get a search warrant type thing. It's kind of the same idea, like, I think once he gets to a point where the contractor's like, all right, he's got this done, he doesn't need to touch the junk, because then the board needs to vote on it.
Well, we have several lots that just come in every year.
Yes.
And that just draws it out. And I can see that guy up by London, we're the ones at Mosey's Yard. And, that would just speed that process up. But we may end up doing it more than, because you're gonna get it done quicker, and with the growing season, it's going to
so now,
accumulate.
looking ahead, we've got the place up in northern Shelby County that's next to the subdivision. They built the double fence. if we give them 2 weeks, that's a lot to take on in 2 weeks. So are we, is that the kind of thing we're going to apply it to, or is it going to be just a lot that needs mowed?
That particular case is,
It's kind of a unique.
That's
That we're for that too much, but I agree. I mean, 2 weeks would be very aggressive.
Yeah, that's-
Try to clean it up.
And maybe it's compliance officer discretion.
Okay,
You
okay.
know, if it's one that
If it's
is.
something unique, maybe.
Right. Yes.
Or that take a look at it.
So are we going to have the blanket notice that you put out for every property, just have an area you could circle that says, if this is not cleaned up in 15 days, it will be cleaned up? That, or are we going to have a separate notice that he would?
But this would be just for usually mold.
Yeah.
All weeds and grass. This
So like,
wouldn't be the junk and.
But I don't know if we're going to have a separate notice that he uses, or will it be a blanket thing?
I think it's like our attorney that keeps coming back, that always has an excuse. You know.
You're on South Nine?
Yeah, he should be, I mean, it should have been done.
Yeah, we were talking about that. We could both clean that up in 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, it just drives me nuts.
You go by it, it looks just like it did before.
oh, they knocked the railing down. They knocked part of the broken fence down
where's it at?
on 9.
He's trying to
The old red brick and just took the old screen door and probably dropped it there. You can't actually see it from the road, but it's still full of.
For the, going back to the notice question, I think it might be good to have a separate one just for the weeds and grass.
Okay.
Because that's such a short
Mhm.
timeframe to, it might get lost in our other order.
Yeah.
A lot more language in there. I mean, different things like that.
Right.
I think you need to make very clear,
Right.
you have 15 days, so we're gonna come in there and abate it for you. So, and I can help with creating that. I think it would be beneficial to have something clearer on that.
Say I go out there, I investigate, I see only tall grass and weeds, I'll send just the one. But say I see tall grass and weeds and junk and trash, do I
Anything
see,
else, use the other.
just use the other? Okay.
And our, let's say it's a lot with no building. You're gonna mail that, because I take it there's nowhere to leave the notice. So is it gonna be, are we gonna give them, the post office may take a few days to get there, is we're gonna have 2 weeks after they get the notice, or?
I mean, we're kind of at the mercy of the
Yeah,
post office. Unfortunately.
I guess I could do it, stake in the ground,
Yeah, I mean, they are too. Yeah, exactly.
So
staple the thing to the ground.
we're gonna give them 10 days like the state or 15 days, whatever we come up with. I think that we need to, our Ben's decision.
Yeah.
Like with, we changed it, like when you're out there and you see a vehicle, go ahead and tag it.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing if he gets a complaint about tall grass and weeds
Mhm.
and he goes and it just needs mowed, do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to come before us and we don't have to approve it. We go by what he tells us on every case anyway.
Mhm.
And if there's junk and trash that needs to be picked up, they can't just go in and mow. Then do we even need to vote on that?
Oh, I think so. I think that
that's
would be a open case, yeah. Request them to appear when there's more.
I know it's more work on Ben, but the less it does in here. As far as whatever he can handle like that, I'm in favor of.
I mean, I'm happy to do whatever I can. I did get some stats. I don't know if you guys want the stats now from the year, kind of an idea with the tall grass and weeds. This year, we had 36 cases that were involving tall grass and weeds. Several of those, I would say, maybe 10 were repeat cases that were just lots that were just continuing to mow. Part of this also, I think you were probably bringing up, was the fact that it just keeps getting tacked onto the taxes, and so say we abate it 2 or 3 times a year, puts a lot more taxes on the property, and then it goes out to sell, and then it gets, the commissioners will, eat the cost or whatever it is. Is there something that we can do to help mitigate that? Like, I'm happy to go out and, hey, you gotta mow the grass, they don't mow it. But if I get the case, like, if I had someone that calls, oh, it's tall again. And I mean, that might be something where we might have, instead of it being abated like twice, 3 times a year, it might be abated like 6 or 7 times a year. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but like,
Yeah, that's what I said. It's gonna speed the process up in their normal growing season. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes we only do it once or maybe twice, but we could double that.
yeah,
And
It'll be nice because I've heard complainants tell me that, I can't believe it takes so long just to mow a yard, you know? By the time we get through our process, 3 months have gone by, and so I think this is a good step.
And these repeat people should come in here and tell us why they don't mow their own property.
Mhm.
And we should let them know that we'll mow once a month if we need to, but it's gonna
But
kill
you
your
are paying
property
for it.
tax.
This is,
well, and that's the thing. A lot of these cases, we'll get one. And I told Lisa I was down doing a case down in Flat Rock, and I was driving by, and I was like, that case is that's bad again. I mean, I'm not opening a case on it, but I'm like, that's bad again. You know, I mean, I don't know if there's anything that we need to address on that end of it too, of where it's like, all right, we've had a case, it's been abated, or they've abated it, and all of a sudden, you know, I right now I can think of at least 3 cases in my mind that I know are like that current.
I don't think there's a whole lot you can do because they haven't did it and they know it's going on their taxes. And they don't really care. They just keep going and,
Right.
And we have to have a complaint.
Right.
yeah, we can't do it on our own
Ben can't say that
Exactly.
needs cleaned up again.
unless you're going to become anonymous.
Right. Yeah, unethical. Probably not a good idea.
Since we know a history, I mean, we'll be able to,
Right.
okay, well, this is a repeat case. So we're not going to be as lenient as the first time and give you as much time because we know that you drag it out.
Right.
Well, and that's a good point, Kevin. On the repeat offenders that we have had to abate by mowing, can we just immediately go in and do that? Joe?
No.
Okay, darn it.
We still have to do that, yeah,
Okay.
at least 10. I mean, state statute says 10, but
Okay.
our ordinance says 15. You at least need to wait for 15 days.
Okay.
Do we need a motion to do this, or we just,
Maybe we go through everything else and then
okay,
Just a blanket motion.
for everything.
But then everything we do has to go
Go to the
forward.
Well, I don't think
Maybe-
These are-
anything
we're not
yet.
changing the ordinance. If we're making a change to the ordinance, then it would need to go to the board for
Okay.
directors and then be approved by the commissioners. But if we're just doing policy type changes, that is just.
Okay.
So have we set a date on how many days we're gonna give them? Is it gonna be 15 or is it gonna be?
Ordinance is
It
15.
already says 15.
I think that.
You
I
can't
think
change
just keep
that.
it the same. since that's
Going
what
to
it
the
says.
board.
Right. Yeah, we need to.
I'm just thinking, get it done as quick as we can for the complaint.
Well, let's talk about something else too, when we're thinking about changing the ordinance. So the city's ordinance states, tall grass and weeds exceed 8 inches. Ours is 10. I'm just bringing that up. Do we want to match what the city's doing? Do we want to stay with the 10? I mean,
I'll give you an example, roadsides. Like the property we own, we mow the roadside 3 times a year. And it gets up to about 10 inches or so so if we start lowering it, you could really to me, a can of worms there that you go every roadside, well, this is at an intersection or whatever. But in the rental contract, he mows it 3 to 4 times a season. So I don't think we need to lower it down.
I'm good with that.
I'm okay with the 15 days.
We're talking inches.
Oh,
How tall?
okay. I thought we were still talking about the timeframe.
They're talking about the city, theirs is 8 inch
Oh, I see.
and ours is 10.
I'd say because county, I mean, you say county roads, I try to mow mine as high as I can, but every time my wife gets on the lawnmower, she likes stomp it, so.
But like bush hog, it's hard to get down.
Yeah, the bush hogs only go down
So far,
you know.
We could stay with the 10. And then I just have listed repeat offenders. We just continue to see certain people multiple times.
So the guy down there on 252. Every single time we dismiss it, he moves the stuff right back out. I know we have a repeat offender fine. Does it step up each time?
Right now, no, I mean, it's just
What is it?
$100. So if we,
I thought it went up increment.
well,
Like
We
it's
have an audit. Yeah, we have an audit. Yeah, maybe a few years and repeat offenders, but yes, the statute does for a repeat offender, it increases, like, I think it goes from like. First time the max of 5,000, second one's a max of 10,000, you could max out to that. Or second or third, I guess anyone would be.
But that still requires us to vote on that.
Yes.
It's not automatic.
But I thought we had like an automatic $100 repeat fine.
I send that out with every repeat case.
I was wondering if that ought to step up. And I'm specifically thinking of that individual that
That individual has been on our books for
ever.
15 years.
I don't know what to do to stop that,
I think that the next time he gets a complaint and we order him to be here and he's standing there, I think we fine him $10,000. You don't want us to be on your property. You don't want a case. We'll charge you the $10,000 and we'll dismiss it. And you're going to pay attention to us at some point. You've not, he doesn't do anything that we ask.
This one with vehicles.
Yes.
I don't make sure I'm on the same page with the 252.
Barely moves them a little bit and then a week after it's dismissed, they're right back.
And we've had deals where he's going to remove 3 a month.
Yeah,
He's never kept his.
he was gonna build a barn in another county.
Is that zoned for what he does?
Nope,
And
they've had the state in there, have everybody.
Oh, it was on, they were on there when I was on the board.
So I mean, I would almost think it's more of a zoning thing. Have they never?
And, they've said he can't park on grass. It has to be stone, paved, something. But our planning director doesn't show up at our meetings anymore.
To answer your question, the penalties it's $100 for the first time, $250 for the second, and it goes up to $500 in under penalties.
That guy's got to be an automatic $500 then every time he. Well, I'm like you, at some point, we need to raise the stakes.
It's on page 10.
Just,
So
we had it at one point where the fines and things were so high that he went into foreclosure.
No,
And we thought the bank will be easy to deal with. The bank worked it out with him and gave it back to him. They didn't want
yeah, because they don't want to deal with all.
They don't want the problem.
it. They didn't want the property back.
It's a beautiful piece of property. Clean it.
Yeah, you see,
It's up on that hill.
yeah, but have you seen an aerial view?
Oh, yeah.
When it first started, the in-ground swimming pool was empty and full of car parts, trout fishing.
So back to what you're saying, we can assess him like a $5,000 fine the next time it happens.
Yeah, coming back to your question, so the section you were under, that's just for weeds and rain vegetation. For all other compliance cases, it's on page 14, section 9. And
Okay, that's just, so that just repeats for
And
the incremental increase.
The section you were on just dealt with, weeds.
Okay.
Repeats, but for any other cases, it's on at section 9, page 14.
Yeah, it says you can't go over $300 a day.
Right, and then
$500 a day.
Like you.
Yeah.
So that just
Maybe
goes,
the next time.
that would apply to anyone else who has junk and things like that.
so should we have something in that section that for repeat offenders? Automatic, because this doesn't, This is not automatic, is it?
It's not, it gives the discretion to the board.
Gives us, yeah.
It just sets parameters on, here's the max finding issue for a first time offender, here's the max for a repeat. But as far as what's in between and what you want to do, that's up to the.
What were you guys discussing?
That we've never been able to get his attention. And it's like Amaron as well. He's not gonna clean anything. And they've said they would. They said they would do it themselves. We wouldn't have to evict it.
They're both just buying time. Who's gonna wait the longest and give in?
Well, they just don't care about our ordinances. They don't. They
So I think for somebody that really thumbs their nose at us and says, I'm not gonna do it, we need to just get rough and say, max fine.
And if it gets brought up again in 3 months, it's gonna say it should the same way.
But once we hit our max of $5,000 or $10,000, we're done. We can't do anything
It's
else.
dismissed.
Right.
I mean, you can abate the property, yeah.
But we really don't need a change in policy there. We just need to
Change our attitude in here. I mean, because we're all getting tired of dealing. I mean, how many excuses about the weather or the, equipment's not working? I mean, we've heard them all.
Yeah.
No?
Everybody seems to hurt themselves bringing all this stuff
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
they can't.
I mean, for the people who legitimately start trying but say it's gonna take me some time, I'm okay with that. Just work on it.
And most people are.
Yeah.
Most people want to get
But
it
there's
done.
always that few that rules aren't made for me.
Well, and
Paul Skaggs to the world.
if they say they're gonna need some time and we try and hold their feet to the fire, like, okay, well, will it be next month? And they say yes, and then it's not.
Yeah.
We'll get that.
But we should stay at that point. Well, you have 90 days. You come back in here and the 90th day, if it's not compliant, $1,000 fine. I mean, we ought to just put it in standards for ourselves. Okay, this is your third offense. We're just gonna kick up the fine until you either care about the property or you care about your money, one or the other, or you don't care about your money. And when it comes to the taxes, like you say, if you can't, if most houses are mortgaged, the banks are gonna say, we're done. We're gonna foreclose or we're gonna fix it ourselves. And they have the right to do that at most mortgages.
That's the thing, it's not our goal to collect.
It's our goal to need to
Improve the property.
But
Make
that's
sure the
what it
property
takes.
Reach the standard.
People don't care about their neighbors.
Mhm.
And they have to pay.
Okay, what else you got?
That is it for my list. So open it up to you guys.
So another issue with the wanting to get things abated, one of the issues that I've had recently has been getting things done in a timely manner with our contractor. We've had a case open.
That's the one.
I'm gonna
Sugar Creek lady.
No, well, that one, yes, but Michael Gray. That one has been ready to abate for probably 3 months now. It's not done yet. Not much has been done to it. The board has voted to abate it. I've sent out the abatement notice. I've told our contractor. Nothing's been done. There's like a couple of those that we've had issues with. I am concerned that if we get into, like I said, the tall grass and weeds, and then if we get into some other abatements, that our contractor won't be able to handle it because he's not able to handle what I'm giving him right now. So that's something that I know that Lisa and I have talked about and Jody have talked about as kind of a frustration of like, and we've reached out to people before about, we've opened up the process and stuff. Nothing's been done. Like, no one's applied or whatever. So they had a couple ideas of some contract or some agencies or some companies that would come in and do certain things, but they would do other things. So I don't know if that's something you guys want to talk about.
You're talking about somebody who would just mow.
Well, yes. So like you have like, let's throw out some ideas. So you have like the fire dog company, and then you have that one guy, Zap, and it's gone, whatever that place is called. You have these places like will come in and get junk, but they won't touch tall grass and weeds. So I don't know if there's an idea if you guys have like, well, we maybe look into this or because if it does get to where we're getting properties abated more often, our contractor's not gonna be able to keep up, and the results will not be there.
Is he doing his best, or is he dragging his feet, or what's he up?
Honestly,
Well, he needs to really stay on our good side because he has the
Right.
worst property in the county. And if
Right.
he doesn't want to play ball with us, then we can go after him.
he's holding our stuff. That's another thing that I was gonna bring up was holding stuff after we abated the property for how long. We talked about that.
Is that something we legally have to do, is hang on to it for a period?
Yeah, no.
Well, I'd say once he takes it from their property, it's gone. If he-
Let's back up a second. What is expected of him? As far as we go in and we pull 15 cars out. I know he has to apply for titles to sell stuff, but
Yeah, I mean,
at what point the recycling district gain from getting this stuff out? We grind it up and then get the proceeds from that? Nothing.
he
Gets it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He needs to get Johnny on the spot, getting that stuff cleaned off his property instead of collecting more and more and more.
Well, that's been, so just recently, we've had cases, so it's Barry Nugent and Jerry Moore. He's been holding their stuff until just recently, because we have not had, Jody's been reaching out to their attorneys, and they've not gotten back with us, because both of those cases have had interest in getting their stuff back. And they've come to meetings, they've been frustrated, they've been upset, and then when it comes, when the meeting's over, they don't do anything about it. So Steve is holding all this stuff, and I'm not trying to necessarily go to bat for Steve or not go to bat for Steve, but he's holding this stuff for us.
Well, is it our job to say, if you wanted to stop, we should have cleaned it up when you got your notice? Because once our contractor takes it, it's gone.
But that one case, his attorney, you two were supposed to get together on the lawnmowers, the tractors.
yeah, right, and I've got no response.
You don't try it then.
Correct.
Do we have something in there that says after 30, 60 days, if there's no communication or anything done, it's,
Give him a notice.
Yeah.
It says after,
Yeah.
I think, 30 days, I believe. I
Yeah.
looked at it
Yeah.
recently, but I believe it says 30 days.
we've got something like that, if nothing happens,
That time it's.
gone. And they've got a copy of it, we got a copy of it, and,
Well, thinking out loud. I mean, if we order something abated that's 5 vehicles, okay? Steve takes it and stores it up there. But if at some point, can we say, why don't we take this to SAP and sell it? Junk. And then that comes back into our pot.
Well, we don't have the title to take it.
Well, but I mean, I'm talking, there's a lot of fence posts and junk that is made out of metal that
To go right to the scrap yard.
right to the scrapyard, and our title is recycle district. Let's start recycling this stuff,
I think his prices that he charges us compensates for that. I mean, for the years that we've used him up until this year, he never charged us to go pull a vehicle and tow it and take it to his. Now he's charging $100. So it's gonna cost us more to call a towing company and have it towed somewhere than the value of the vehicle.
And if you have a vehicle towed and it goes directly to Pettit's or somewhere, do they make you have a title to take it in there?
Yes.
You can't just turn it into scrap.
Right, yeah.
But that's their standard. I mean, if you wanted, if you didn't have title, used to be in the junkyards, if they didn't have title to the car, it was for parts home. For parts home. You know, and once they take the good part off, then it goes to the grind. But things have changed over the years, but I know, you know,
But as
nobody
far as
wants anything without a title.
like holding things for people for 30 days, they have 20 days notice to get rid of the car, get it running, get it plated, whatever. If they can't do it in 20, they're not gonna do it in 50.
Right.
Or if they won't do it, they can. If they won't do it the first 20, what makes us believe, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna get right on it now that it's gone?
I think whatever time limit we have, once that's gone, done, get rid of it. Don't hold it anymore.
Can we force our contractor to get rid of stuff that's holding for us?
Oh, we can tell them to release it, like just, yeah. just-
No, I meant all the stuff that nobody's interested in is still sitting on his lot.
Yeah, and our contract with him states that he's agreeing to dispose of things that he's removing. I mean, we have that language.
Within a certain amount of time.
I mean, yes, after we tell him it's released, yes, he at that point should be disposing of everything properly.
So he's not following his contract then.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, if we say it's released, you don't go and check to see.
no, I don't.
He very well could be, right?
Right, we don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, Steve is, well, for a while there has been, would call me every week. I would call him multiple times a week, depending on the abatement statuses. But when we were holding that, when he was holding that stuff for us, he'd be like, hey, where are we sitting? Where are we sitting? Like, I want to get rid of this. Like, I'm gonna, and he even one time he's like, I already rented the Goodyear blimp coming over and we're throwing a party because I'm gonna get rid of all this stuff. Because his place is getting, like you were saying, it's getting packed. But like he was holding that semi trailer, and that, I mean, that was taken up, and he sent me, and I sent it on to Jody and Lisa, but the storage fees on all of that stuff. I mean, I could not believe it when I saw the number. And so that's part of it, is that he's got to be kind of compensated for if he's storing something because it's taking up space, his place. So in that aspect, I think he is wanting to get rid of stuff. He's not looking to necessarily hoard it. He's involved in a lot of other businesses. So, I mean, like, he doesn't have room for our stuff for very long.
That takes it back to what we were talking earlier about, let's say somebody come in and do the mowing. Does that affect, I don't know what kind of a contract you have with him, would that affect that? Does he have an exclusive contract?
He doesn't, I mean, we can check.
I would agree exclusive now. I mean, my thought is that if we can find other contractors who are interested, is that we have a backup, right? If he can't do it, then we have this list of others that we go to and say, hey, can you assist with mowing this property?
I think that would be a great idea to compile the list.
Yeah, we could get it done on a more timely basis, especially the mowing, if we start doing it.
First, right? But if he can't get to it.
Can you get to it in the next day or so? If not,
Well, Lisa, are we just being too lenient as a board? Do we need to toughen up? No, really, this is the time
Yeah.
for us to discuss.
Opinion only. I don't like seeing repeat people come in.
Mhm.
I think, like someone said, they're not taking our ordinance seriously. And why is that? Maybe we do need to get a little tougher. Say, hey,
well, I find a lot of people today feel that rules aren't made for me. I don't have to follow your rule. And it's just gonna, I think, take more of a stand and get into the, and some of them even get in their pocketbook doesn't phase them sometimes. So, you know, it comes to a point, what do? You know, you can get as tough as you want, but there's some people that are just, I don't know what their mentality is, but it doesn't
Some
matter.
of it is their mentality is
Non-existent.
you don't think the way they think,
No,
you know?
and that's what I'm finding more and more of
Yeah.
that happening, especially with some of the repeat people.
But we have every right to get a little tougher because an ordinance is basically a law, right? And we all are held to that standard. You're following it, I'm following it. They have to as well. They may not like it, but that's, if they don't like it, change it.
That's what I tell everybody when I go out there. Say I have to follow it just like you do.
It's a law. We don't allow certain things to happen in people's yards.
So as far as the board is concerned, should we set our own standards of what, getting tougher?
Guess so.
When Kevin gets down there and starts becoming Mr. Nice Guy, we jump on him.
I don't know how.
Well, you know, it's-
How we get their attention.
You look at, Sigmund's, out there. I mean, we've been just tippy-toeing around, but there was so much they had to do.
He is
You're going-
making progress.
It is a work in progress.
And
And-
his son at the other property has about 5 or 6 cars there, blatant, no plates on them. And they've been and been and been.
How many times have they been in there?
Well,
The whole
and see,
family.
Tony owns that property where his son lives.
Yeah.
His son doesn't work. He works on cars. He's not got a zone to
I know.
run a mechanic. And
He's got a sister that shows up on North Nine every once in a while. There's a house there that's just falling in, that she owns.
So, I mean, how far did we push him? I mean, he's making progress.
Well, to me, I think as long as he,
Yeah.
and he's doing a good job.
Oh, yeah.
but why is he doing it? The house is condemned.
Well, he's fixing the house up.
On the-
His intention is to move into that.
You know,
I was in that house 30 years ago and it had a dirt floor.
I just feel like it's
30 or 50 years ago.
Yeah, just
like
like.
really willing to work on it and they're showing progress. I feel okay with that. It's the people who,
Thumb their nose at it.
people who say, oh yeah, we'll get right on it. And the next month, there's nothing done.
I have to be honest with you, when they stand up there and start threatening me, no attitude changes, man. I mean, let's hit the max of
You
it.
can
Let's go.
just bang your gavel and say, that's it.
That's it.
We're gonna vote. See ya.
Yeah, hit the door.
We need a gap.
Well,
Hit the microphone.
You need to let them know, everybody knows for sure, you got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And hold them to that.
Yeah, I guess we need to really hold people to the 5 minutes.
They want to tell you their life story.
Yeah.
And Lisa's been doing a good job with that. I mean, she's been keeping time on that and.
I'll give you guys these eyes.
Yeah, she looks over, I look over her and I can tell.
But again, I can just say enough,
Yeah, time's up.
minutes up.
Time's up. I don't have to, time's up. And then Tim can take it from there.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think we need to be as tough as we can on people that are continually coming back.
That are not showing progress.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't just, sometimes they'll show progress 1 month and after that, that's it.
Anything
I
else?
think we haven't been we've been abating property a little quicker than we used to.
Yes.
Used to it would go on 6 months or so.
We would even wait till they maxed out the fines
Yeah,
before we would
yeah.
abate it.
We are, I think, taking to that process. Maybe, what the next step is.
In all the cases that you've had over the years, have you ever maxed a 10,000 fine? Did you just say 10,000, we're done?
I think we did.
I think we've maxed out people before where we had to drop the case,
Not that many, but I think we have
where we've had to dismiss the case
Yeah.
because it maxed out.
maxed out the fine.
Only, so if we hit the max, then
Yeah.
we're done.
Right.
Oh,
That's what I say if, for example, somebody comes in and you just say, here's 10,000, we'll dismiss it. It'll show up on your property taxes. And the next complaint, it'll be the same thing. So either.
So it could be 10,000, 10,000.
Every time there's a case.
There's always, I mean, we can always abate too.
Yeah.
If we max out on fine, we still have additional, recourse. But I think at some point you could figure out the fines aren't working, right?
And
If
we've-
there's nothing happening,
Yeah.
we probably just need to go in and abate.
Haven't we abated Patrick Black and been to court and got it stopped and
I think we've abated Patrick. Have we?
Not since I've been on.
Which one?
The one out on two
Oh,
fifty-two.
Black?
Yeah, all the way
He's
down.
always eventually moved his vehicles behind the fence.
And put the fence up and that, everything was pretty
now
good
he's got
for,
about 10 or 11 cars
Yeah.
outside the fence.
Oh, he's
That
got
was
at
the
least
whole-
that many out.
That was the whole thing. It's like, put a fence up.
But didn't
And we
you go
don't-
out there and he moved every one of them and they were all,
Yeah, yeah,
everything.
yeah.
But there's no place.
but
There's
now we
there's one on a trailer that he hauled away years ago and now it's back.
gotta.
So when we find somebody $5,000, is it like a year later that they really find out about it when they go to pay their property taxes?
We send them a notice.
No, but
As far as them having to pay it,
Yeah.
yes.
It's, yeah.
I don't know what we do about that, but that's a little bit a part of the problem, that it's not a right now problem for them.
Well, it seems to be if there's a mortgage.
If there's a
they find out
mortgage, yeah.
quicker, because that was Amrine's thing.
Mhm.
His
They're gonna
mortgage
get better.
company got those fines and his house payment went way up.
Yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
stood there and told us that he was gonna lose his place if we didn't let up.
And that's when we should have said, this is the choice you have. You either do it or you created the problem. Now you have to
Yeah.
create the solution.
But in that flood of '08, his dad had a place behind him or whatever, closer to the river that flooded. He got all of his dad's stuff, moved to his place. And his dad hadn't got any place to transfer it to, so it's not all his. It's, the story.
But we worked and negotiated a deal with him, and I'd say he is so far out of compliance right now.
They gave us a date, him and his attorney gave us a date, and if it wasn't done by then, they would have paid it themselves, paid for
Amron?
Yeah, then
Where's he?
just eat west of Flat Rock in the curve and that bunch of houses right there.
With
On the
the
river.
two before sticking out of the.
Oh, that guy.
it.
Yeah.
We had some
So he
along
got
there
off
when I
on
was on
this,
for the
didn't
first time.
Yeah, we
He
dismissed,
he had his attorney say they would have it done by a certain date,
yeah, because they,
and it's not been done.
well, Jody, you met with the attorney, everybody went down there and it was compliant at that time.
Right.
But then after that,
He
we
went
haven't
right
had
back.
another
He hadn't had,
complaint.
but he went right back. to the old-
It was compliant one time.
After he built fence and did all kind of stuff to hide.
So when a person calls in to complain about that, I wonder if we need to make them understand that, look, if he gets compliant, we'll dismiss it. And we don't follow up. So it's going to be up to you to monitor him and re-complain. Do
Do you
we-
remember dealing with the people over Stones?
yeah.
Yeah, the whole
The guy and his
community's-
wife?
Yeah.
That was here every meeting for
Yeah.
and I, kept telling them, we're doing all we can do.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Yeah.
We're waiting on the court.
Well, then we had another one where the husband died, but he had all that stuff and the whole community come in for about 3 or 4 months to
Right.
make sure it was getting taken care of.
Anything else?
I don't.
No, one time I asked, I think, a couple of meetings ago about the number of cars that are allowed to be parked, and I guess we have nothing that we can hang our hat on about having a bunch of cars. If they're all plated and registered, inoperable can move. Because one time we had a person up north that they're allowed so many project vehicles.
Yeah, I think I remembered in the one that
Where
was
did that
back
come
in.
from? Because there's nothing in our ordinance about it.
Now, they've always said you could have one project vehicle,
Yeah.
like you was restoring an
Yeah.
old car.
Give a time period. I mean, to be considered a project vehicle under our ordinance, I think it has to be maybe like within 20, 30 days, like something you're working on right actively. I don't know if the zoning ordinance has something.
Well, there was something, because we had one up north, and that's the reason I was asking how many, project vehicles, because when it comes vehicles in, farm machinery also comes into that, and it addresses farm machinery, how it has to be under maintenance and operable in so many days or months. And you've got some that's sunk down in the ground and it's been there forever. But that addresses farm machinery, but it doesn't really address other vehicles.
I think maybe with project vehicles, we need to see progress again on those, every month too.
We don't have anything that addresses that.
Now, there was something about cars not being able to be parked on grass for extended period of time.
That's zoning.
That's
That was Jody.
That was,
That was Jody.
Because I mean, I know we've got one in Waldron that's got like 8 to 10 vehicles in their side yard, and of course, their house is about ready to fall down too. But,
What about Staggy's place? Would that take a whole new, that's,
no. It pretty well, it states in there. Just.
campers.
but nobody's complained about that. I mean,
We're just waiting for, somebody to complain.
Yeah.
Because I feel sorry for he's made a statement that, if something happens to him, it's not going to his wife, it's going to another person. And I feel sorry for the other person.
Just gonna have to clean up the mess.
So right now, if somebody had a fence that under a previous ordinance was okay, we don't
But not now.
hammer them. If the property changes hands, then does that still get grandfathered in?
Way I understand it, if they got complained again, the new ordinance applies
Applies to
to now, not back then.
Okay.
Because
Even if it's the same owner?
that's what he started back, the last time we had him in, they built a fence. And
Yeah.
he was gonna build a building back there, which he's never did that. He just keep putting more buses out front and filling them with parked junk.
That's why he moved the cars out front, out in the front yard,
But they're not
because he
cars.
was building a building.
Yeah.
And then the
This is
building
Staggy.
never, no.
Oh.
Well, this was Staggy did that. He
He's
started,
gonna build a building.
he was gonna build a building back here and he's never built a building.
Well,
And he put a fence up. But now, that was,
he's visible for a long.
yes. Mhm.
Do we need to make a vote on all?
then he's got more stuff south.
Yeah. Down in that woods.
So yeah,
That's what-
yeah, right after the bridge.
Across from that old stone quarry?
Yeah.
Hey
He's got,
guys, we're gonna recap what we talked
Okay.
about, and we have to make a vote.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so we are going to highlight on the notice that the compliance officer is allowed to enter the property. And also that any items cannot be stored under cover or behind a fence. For abatement of tall grass and weeds, we will have a separate notice for that. And if they do not comply within the time frame of 15 days, we will do immediate abatement. On repeat offenders,
We might add that that's at the discretion of the compliance officer.
I don't know, I put that in the notice, though. I think we just give Ben the discretion, because if you put that in there, it adds a gray area that.
Well, are we gonna put anything in our,
No, I think it's just, that's more of a policy decision. You're given, kind of like with the vehicles, right? When we did that, you said Ben can go ahead and tag. It's kind of the same thing with the weeds and ring vegetation. Ben can go ahead, issue the notice.
I just don't know if somebody can.
you want to put a target on it.
No, that's exactly what I don't want to do. I should see that coming down the-
Well, I didn't want somebody to construe that he's doing this on his own without any approval from anybody else.
Yeah, no, I mean,
He's got-
again, it's kind of been, if it's a unique case, he has the authority to send it to board and not issue order.
As long as everybody, okay.
Finish there.
We
We repeatedly have a representative show up who's not the owner. I'm thinking of Abby Drake's boyfriend. Is there any need for a change there to say if you've been called on the carpet, you need to come and not some boyfriend?
Yeah,
She came first time, I think.
Okay.
And he was the one who said, we're gonna get it cleaned up, and it started cleaning up, and then something happened in that little relationship there.
Well, there's a lot of moving parts with that one. A lot of,
But she's still the property owner.
she is.
That's who we need to be.
And didn't we talk to him about, you don't have the authority to make those, didn't we have a
We
conversation?
told him by the next meeting, he either needs to come back with paperwork again saying he's a representative.
We're saying
She needs to be.
representative. Okay,
That was for today's meeting if we were to have, well, the regular one. So probably pushed to January, but.
Okay. Might go ahead.
During repeat offender cases, increased fines will be considered by the compliance board. We will work on obtaining a list for additional contractors to help with abatement. And the 5-minute time period a offender has to state their case will be enforced going forward. Ahead or
Now,
whatever.
does that state, you are required or you are ordered or you are requested to appear and you will have 5 minutes to,
It says it on our sign-in sheet, but I don't remember.
Okay.
I know
if it says it somewhere,
Yeah,
and it won't be a surprise to them when we say your 5 minutes is up. Okay.
It's on the nose.
Well, I think, haven't you been saying,
Yeah.
step up to the podium, you've got 5 minutes?
At the beginning. Your case.
Thank you.
so I think
I would like for them to come up, introduce themselves, and maybe I need to lead them up. Come on up, introduce yourself, and you have the right 5 minutes to state your situation or case to us.
There you go.
And at the end of 5 minutes, we're gonna stop, and then we're gonna make a decision based on what we're seeing.
Or have a question and answer session with the board.
Yeah, it's for us, we need to
So,
be able to ask.
you should be doing that. Yeah, absolutely.
Either that, or do you want me to, if I'm the one that, say that you don't know who this person is, like today, I know.
I didn't know who that one, I knew that, unfortunately, this is my neighbors.
Yes.
This is one of, it started with the other guy.
Yep.
And he's a drug runner, so they're trying to squeeze him out from that.
Right.
So then he's got so much junk sitting there. Well, he ratted out them people. And I'm just pretty sure my name's gonna come up pretty soon. So I'm already thinking I can put that one there and this one here.
Well, he ratted out 3 people.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I hope he didn't get buzzed. The guy with all the tractors and trailers and.
No, they got, the Mises, the Ross, and then another guy down on the end of the cul-de-sac.
I might have to resign pretty soon. The cul-de-sac, yeah, but 2 of those 3 are drug.
But with that conversation, I did have one more thing to add, but I don't know if that should be now or after you're done.
Let's finish this and we can vote on it.
so a motion on, because I've
You're done
covered
with your list, right?
it. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion to change our ways of thinking, as far as the board getting a little more aggressive and kicking the fines up, plus all that she talked about.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have
A
one,
second.
and we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, motion carried. Okay, and I may go through and just kind of set out an outline of what our choices are, so we all have something here that, okay.
Gonna keep time.
She generally gives me that look, and I've seen that look from a woman before. Pay attention to that.
Pernell and I will state it. So one other thing we do have on our.
Do we need to put clock right here, somewhere up here.
We got the big clock right there.
Yes,
I mean,
I think Lisa will do, I think Lisa will do fine.
cause you're on the phone, you're timing on the phone.
Pretty much, yeah. But if you think it's getting a
Lisa can go, you have 1 minute. You know,
that's up, yeah.
heads up, you got 1 minute.
One other thing I do have on our agenda is to approve the 2026 meeting schedule. I think I sent one to everyone. The only time that we do sometimes have a challenge on getting a quorum is in February. So, will everybody be here in February
I won't be here.
I won't be here.
too?
I'm staying this year.
You're here.
That's the only time I'm leaving this year is February.
Looking.
Well, hang on, I may be here.
I don't have any travel plans yet, but
Well,
that
don't make any.
could change.
Okay,
Rates are cheaper earlier February, not late. How about that?
we would just need a motion to approve them.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the schedule for the meetings for 2026.
I say.
Got a motion to approve the schedule for 2026 and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
Actually, I will be here in February.
Good. You sign
You
it?
sign that, yeah, please.
There wasn't a check in this envelope this time. The reason I say that, because when I went to the mailbox, it was unsealed. Mine was too.
That's
And I thought, I better ask, because I looked in there and all the paperwork, but it was,
Was the thing peeled off?
no, it was just open. It was like somebody steamed it open or something, and I thought, I better find out if.
Really strange.
I'm glad to hear that.
Check, no. So Ben, you had something else?
Yeah, so kind of a year-end review, good news, bad news, whatever you want to say. So as of today, because we really haven't had any cases dismissed or not dismissed, we've had 62 cases dismissed from the cases that were back from 22, 23, whatever. This year, we've dismissed 62 cases. I think that's a great thing.
It is.
Tall grass and weeds, what I already mentioned, was 36. I think that number went up from last year. Last year, I think it was 27. So we went up a little bit. Repeat cases this year were 15. So not terrible, but still I'd like to see that number go down.
I like to see it down.
Yeah. Properties abated, we had 20 properties abated by the contract. So
Like we did more now.
almost 2 a month.
There two a month, yeah.
Yeah. Almost 2 a month. So decent. Cases cleaned up by the property owner was 27.
Nice.
So pretty good there. Of the complaints that I got, less than 5 were all valid. So 5 or less were invalid when I went out to investigate. They either had mowed the grass, cleaned up the junk, or whatever it might have been. And the last one, kind of what you were talking about with down there in next to you, cases with threats or enhanced danger to the compliance officer, and that was 10. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Way too much.
Yeah. And I can give you, for instances, I wrote all this down. I'm going to bring it up to the next board meeting in January. But those would go all the way to one tried to hit me head on with a car.
Seriously.
Yeah. One wanted to shoot me with salt, but wanted to assault me with something, potentially hurt me. All the way to being aggressive and looking at becoming a physical confrontation in an impound. So we were going to impound a car just, a couple weeks ago or so. I could tell he was starting to square up with me. I wasn't going to get into a physical fight, even though I probably could have handled it. I don't want to do that in this case. But that number I would love to see go down.
Well, I would too.
I've tried to do with my tactics, techniques, procedures from working with the sheriff's department, try to implement that here, but those 10 cases have kind of pushed me to where I don't have any my tools. I use the tools that I have in this case, but those 10 I either had to back out of, or we had to go through court, or we had to do other stuff. So I don't know how to mitigate that. If you guys have some ideas, but those 10.
Well, anytime that there's a confrontation, you just need to vacate, and then we'll have to use a legal system to do it, because we don't want you getting hurt or.
And I know there's times that you've had a county officer go with you, is that correct?
Myself, since I've been on, so one of the cases was, I'll give you for instance, Jerry Moore, buddy of mine on the sheriff's department calls me. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Oh no, I'm sorry. Steve called me first. He's like, "I need you down here now." I wasn't working that day. I had my kids. My wife was working, so it was just me at home. He's like, "I need you here now." I'm like, "What's going on?" All that he's threatening me. He's saying I'm stealing stuff. I hang out with him. My friend who's a corporal in the sheriff's department called me and said, "Hey, I know you're not working right now for the sheriff's department. I know you're not working right now for the district. Is this going on?" I said, "Yeah, we got an abatement going on." All that to say, dispatch had gotten a call that there was a theft in progress. 3 of my buddies were flying down there to deal with that. They get there dealing with Steve. They don't know what's going on, so I don't know if they had him a gunpoint or not. So they had all this stuff that was going on that caused this problem. So yes, that one I was down there, but outside of that one, I don't know of any.
That's one I remember is one with Moore.
That one was a hot one.
Should the sheriff's department be notified that
Same question. Would it be beneficial when we have abatements to notify? someone?
So I usually do call dispatch. I have told Steve, call dispatch, hey, let them know that you're down there. Another thing is, like, when I go out to do a case, and say I'm doing the initial case, and I understand this is kind of a accepted risk, I guess you could call it, but go down there and I'm dealing with a new case, and I'm walking the property. Usually I try and do it nonchalantly, just kind of be a covert and walk around and not draw attention to myself. And then at the end, when I get all of my pictures done, I get all the tags applied or whatever, then I make contact. Because then it's, instead of me making contact first and then trying to do tags, well, no, you're not going to do that. If I can do all that first. But say I have someone that confronts me and is like, "What are you doing?" And then they get hostile. If I'm by myself, of course, I am. I don't have my own dispatch other than them to, and they don't want, I say they don't want me to always calling, "Hey, I'm down here doing this property check," whatever. Because technically it's not, I'm not working in that aspect in this case. So it puts an unneeded stress or burden on them. So I don't know how to, Lisa and I talked about that. Like, when I go down to something I know could be dangerous, I've been telling her, a couple weeks ago, I told her, I said, "Hey, but you don't hear from me in like an hour.
You need to
Call me."
have something like that. Do you have any kind of identification?
That's what I was going.
Yeah, I have a tag that I wear.
It's just a little tag though.
Yeah, it's like this.
Okay.
It can be a medallion, but it just clips onto my thing.
The reason I'm saying it, there was some guy around Waldron this week, he was going around taking pictures. And people were on Facebook and they had pictures of him. "Do you know this guy? What's he doing?"
Right.
And stuff like, and he didn't have any kind of identification.
Should we, for your car and our abatement guy, have magnetic signs that go on there that say Shelby County, something official?
Yeah.
So if somebody looks out, they could see, oh, it's not just somebody. stealing their stuff.
Before, but I mean, Ben's driving his personal vehicle, but
What,
I just,
I guess my question would be, if they knew that you were a reserve deputy, do you think you would get that?
So in my opinion, and Jody can speak into this, my only issue is I don't want to get hemmed up on what's called ghost employment. Because that's a felony, and that's a big. I have a lot of goals, and one of the goals is not to get hemmed up on ghost employment. So,
But I'm not saying wear your uniform or anything.
Right.
What I'm just saying, if, once they know that you're actually a sheriff's officer,
Right.
does their attitude change?
I've only said it to a couple people that I've had. I'm like, I'm working for the recycling district. I always say, I'm working for the recycling district. Also this, but right now I'm working for the recycling district. So, but at that point, it's still like, I could take the hat off and put another hat on, but I don't want there to be any kind of well, he's working for this, but he's stating this. Like,
No,
I
I
always,
like when an officer goes with you,
right.
their attitude changes instantly.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that you are a reserve deputy,
Right.
Gives me a little peace,
Right.
because you do know how to respond to drunks and idiots and all that stuff out on the highway.
Well, that's one of the things that, not that I'm leaving, but whenever I've vacated this office, whoever were to take the place, I highly recommend them to have, I know it's already kind of got that you have to have some investigative, stuff, but have a certain amount of, like, some tactics that they've used in other places for their own safety. I mean, the world is not getting better. The world's getting worse. They fly off the handle a lot more on certain things. And I take precautions to protect myself because I want to go home at the end of the night. I've talked to my wife about it. She's like, yeah, people, and she's not mean in a bad way, but she's like, you guys don't know that I'm going to go out here. And I've told Lisa, like, but outside of that, no one knows I'm going out there. Like I said, I don't want to burden dispatch with stuff that it's not their responsibility. I don't have a radio. I'll bring my radio occasionally. Like if we've had a couple hot cases here and I know that they're going to be here, I'll usually put my radio in my bag so I can, hey, I need someone here now. But I don't take it with me because again, those are resources that are for that.
Yeah.
That's the reason I said if you have a confrontation,
Right.
just back out and we'll have to do the legal system. It's gonna take a little longer, but we want your safety and everybody's safety to come first.
Well, and for instance, Lisa, before I was on, Lisa backed out and the guy chased her.
Yeah.
But the state doesn't.
So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a difference when a guy confronts a guy, but in my opinion, when a guy confronts, when a man confronts a woman and chases her down, in my opinion, that's for me a higher level of response. Like for her to fear for her life would be different from me to fear for my life. So, all that to say, I don't know how to help mitigate that issue. I'd like to see that number come down. But
Is
It's
there
about the same
anything,
with today's society.
right.
is there anything that we need in the ordinance that says if we are on the property to inspect and there is a confrontation, it will result in this?
I don't know if it's in the ordinance, but we should handle that here. That's one of the things I like to ask is, are they cooperating
Yeah.
with you? And the people that want to get belligerent with you, then I think we ought to handle when
Yeah.
they're in front of us.
Because that's what it says in one part of the order. If they tell you to get off the property, then to go to the warrant property.
Getting at these cases that Ben's talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of those are that way.
If they're gonna treat him that way and
Yeah.
not have any respect
Or
for.
they're gonna treat us the same way.
Yeah, then we're gonna hammer them.
And hopefully putting in the notice, highlighting that our compliance officer has the right to walk the property. Maybe that will help hopefully head off some of these.
Right.
They'll see that, and at least understand that you have that right to do so under the ordinance.
Some people will look at it though, I don't
Right.
care, it's my property.
Some will say, well,
Yeah.
other stuff. but
Yeah,
I mean,
It's my property and you're not coming on, I don't care what the paper said.
In your professional opinion, what would you consider a threat to the point that you call your, but
Well, I mean, so a threat would be any kind of a fit, anything that's gonna do harm, like if I were to say, I'm gonna kill you, instead of me saying like, I'm gonna kick your butt. Those are different. You know,
Well,
if someone says,
it was
I'm gonna
mentioned-
kick your butt, I'm gonna grab this bat right now, I'm gonna kick your
But
butt.
it was mentioned here in this, one of these days, one of the
Right.
meetings prior that I'm gonna find out where you live. Would you consider that a threat?
I would put it, I don't know if it would stretch to the IC code threat level. It could. That's one of those where I would call the prosecutor and be like, hey, what do you?
Well, I
think
mean,
about
I guess that's what I want to get to
Yes.
is at one point, we, as a board, need to go officially after these people.
Right.
Long before you ever get it. I mean,
Yeah,
you're smart enough.
You should be gone
You-
before,
yeah, long-
before you
You
need to
know, when
call
you're in
your
that
buddies.
situation,
Yeah.
you don't have to call and apologize to us.
Right.
You know, get out of there.
Right.
And then we, as a board, will go after them.
I
Right.
think one guy last month said something about he'd let his dog loose. Remember that?
Yeah.
To me, we should be done with him.
Right.
That was,
And I think at this point, okay, now you get a $7,000 fine.
That's where we need to
Have a
back
great
you up.
day.
Yeah, you threatened and
Yeah,
it's,
where the board has discretion to issue a larger fine or do something.
That's where I want to get to. When they start talking stupid up there, we're done. $5,000, $7,000 fine. You have a great day.
yeah.
No, that's where I want to get to.
But yeah, before you need to call one of your friends, you should be on your way home.
Oh, yes.
Don't hang around.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But I guess what I'm trying to say, and I hope I'm speaking for the board and everybody else here, is don't let it get to that.
Right.
And we should back you up if you feel like you're threatened. If we want to do the legal action, put a stop to that.
Right.
but that's harder said than done too,
Yeah.
because the person could be acting friendly and all of a sudden they just flip their switch and
Oh, yeah.
there you are.
Yeah, but I don't mean that. You need to report that to us, but we're aware of it's
Put
going
that
on.
in the
It's
thing,
reported.
like,
Yeah.
hey, this guy was really belligerent.
I usually do that in my case notes. I always say, hey, this is, I'll even quote it if I can remember the quote. I usually like, you know, I think I did that with the Moore property and maybe with Nugent. I don't know. But I mean, I definitely put all that.
Yeah, we definitely.
Stuff we look for when she calls them up front and tells us what page, we're thumbing through there like, this guy's very been helpful, or this
And
guy.
I've sent that to Jody, and I think that's been helpful for her for notes for, you know, court. So.
Yeah, we definitely need to know that and what was said and.
And if we're having this conversation, this time next year, and that case went from 10 to 30, then I suggest we buy body cam for you.
Yeah.
So that we have a record of it. I'm just popping out loud here, but that's where we're at.
No, I get it.
We should back this up.
Society. It's
You get
society
on the
that.
property just as soon as you feel it's going the wrong direction. And your expertise is why I was asking those
Right.
questions. You know, better
Right.
than somebody off the streets.
Yeah, I would feel like my spidey sense would be going, I would kind of, again, it's, if they're telling me something and it looks like, I feel like it might just all be talk or if it could be action. Like the one down by you, he was squaring up to me physically. Now, yeah, we'll just leave it there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. You never, that guy, you have no idea what's on, right? And so, you know, that's gonna come back to haunt down the road. I might be up on that side of the fence next week. I only have one trailer, don't have a plate on it, and an old project car.
Are you ready for your favorite motion?
I am. There was one other question that I had in my mind, but it's gone now, so.
That happens with age.
It'll wake you up in the middle of the night, write it down, we'll do it next month.
Anything else from you ladies?
Make a motion, we adjourn. I'll second that.
I'm slow. I have a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor say hallelujah.
And Merry Christmas.
Christmas to you all.
Happy.
I would bet 3